The air was scorching hot, sky polluted, and the lights of the city were blaring with zero abandon. Usually this was normal in hell. After all, it was hell for a reason. Many sinners who couldn't get used to this would work in places with air conditioning or try to reach an underground area called the cold storage, where moist, moldy coolness reigned supreme, as well as aquatic demons. The demons used to this, however, could spend countless hours outside, allowing them to get more things done and become more powerful. As such, it was actually quite frowned upon to openly admit that the hell weather was terrible and annoying to endure. Among these demons, who refused to publicly admit it, was none other than the TV demon Vox. He made absolutely sure to limit his time out of the D Tower to an absolute minimum. There were only two demons who knew a secret. Velvet, who was needed to set up his time plans, specifically to avoid being outside for too long, as well as a very special demoness, knowing about it, who was secretly one of the most important beings for his personal wellness and happiness. It was a stressful day. There were 4 appointments, 2 meetings, and a total of 5 times he had to leave the studio for specific errands to upkeep the various contracts he upheld with different demons. His hands nervously played with the dials on his screen, like a fidget toy, changing the saturation and contrast on not only his face, but also the things he was seeing. Like a built-in LSD trip without the NC side effects. While his other hand was slowly typing letters into his smartphone. "Voxy, baby!" shouted a male voice as the demon it belonged to kicked open the TV demon's door. Vox didn't respond, his eyes only darting towards Valentino. The moth pimp was grinning. He had seen how the TV demon had been suffering all day, and after having his fun watching him suffer, it was finally time. "Voxy, I'm concerned you're overworking yourself." Smirking, the moth slowly walked through Vox's office. A draper-little place. A collection of golden records and framed movie advertisements, as well as various display shelves containing rare alcohol bottles, lined the wall. Casually, the pimp opened one of the containers, gently taking out one of the bottles. "You aren't even telling us as to why you're so anxious. Just a few weeks ago, a day like today, that would have made you happy." While holding the bottle in his upper left and a cigarette in his upper right, Valentino crossed his lower arms. "It's the Alistair thing, isn't it, baby?" This caused the bottle in the pimp's hand to explode suddenly. "Oh, baby, the good booze! Plus, it's all over my coat." "Don't." "Huh?" "Don't say his name." Vox jumped up, pointing at him with a threatening shiver. "I cut your tongue out!" But Valentino just hugged himself. That passion, Voxy. You really know how to talk to me." After taking a drag of a cigarette, he puffed some pink smoke up onto the ceiling, which was quickly dispersed by the quickly spinning ceiling fan. "Fine, Voxy, have it your way," moaned Valentino after a long pause. "I call her." "No." "Pardon?" Vox scoffed and looked away. I don't like it when she screws around my brain." Val chuckled. "And here I thought you loved her." Vox's face turned blood red. "Get out." Sure. Just let me take this. With a quick, smug bow, he sneakily grabbed another bottle, only for Vox to shout, "Put that back!" just as he was about to close the door. You were leaning against your kitchen counter inside your home, fingers playing with a small red puddle on the clean marble. Your fingertips ending in long claws with holes at their tips, through which you could consume liquids. It was quite convenient. You could talk while enjoying a drink with the girls, by just putting a finger into the glass. But above all, you love blood. The taste, the smell, the sense of mortality, its warmth, its pleasant thickness. Your claws swirled through the liquid, slowly slurping it up. It belonged to one of your clients, a very important one at that. An addict of lemon candy. The treat was created within the bowels of candy demons. Tall, lanky, sinner-born demons with arms so long they dragged their hands on the ground behind themselves, with burlap sack-like skin making them look like oversized voodoo dolls. The stomachs were unable to fully digest food, making it a nasty, slimy glob in their stomachs. The glob was often considered a delicacy, as the candy demon's stomach sludge was a quite good relaxant, and to enhance it, they would take all different kinds of drugs, as well as tasty fruits, to make the resulting glob especially delicious. The glob, chopped up into bite sizes, would then be wrapped and sold by dealers. But what no one but a few knew was that their blood is wonderfully potent as well. That's why the overlords in charge of taking care of candy demons were at a constant war with vampire demon gangs. But someone of your vocation, well, you could get access to this delicious nectar. You were a mosquito demon, and a beautiful one at that. You had a wonderful slender body, black chitin covering your forearms and lower legs that slowly turned into beautiful, perfectly groomed white skin. You had a little mole above your upper lip and short white hair, just barely able to reach your shoulders. And you had just the most beautiful red lips and eyes. Under your wrists, you had little sacks in which you could store any liquid you consumed with your fingers, either to drink it on demand or to share with others. You had a similar sack inside your chest, just beneath your stomach, that made you look 8 months pregnant at full volume. You looked at the red glowing membranes beneath your arms as you slurped up every drop of blood. It was just then that you received a call. Gracefully you spun around, taking your phone off the wall charger. "Hello," you hummed seductively. "Dusky baby!" "Oh well," you smirked, flashing your sharp teeth with delight at no one. "What brings me the honor?" "It's Voxy." "Ah!" Valentino produced an exasperated groan. You could practically hear him make a dramatic pose at the phone with the back of his hand gently pressed against his forehead, with an even more dramatic "ugh." Oh wait, he did make an "ugh," did he? "Aw, what's wrong with old Voxy?" You purred. "He's just such a drag ever since the old radio demon came back. I think he's secretly yearning for your touch, Dusky. Oh, please take care of him before I lose beauty sleep on worrying about him." You snickered. Oh, well, sweetie, we both know you don't need beauty naps. You heard how Valentino smugly scratched over his fur coat. Blush, he purred. You know, if you aren't too worn out after helping Voxy, you can come and give me a little suck too. He purred seductively, licking his lips audibly, heart pounding. Oh. You know my prices, sweetheart. Valentino laughed. There weren't many people he allowed to talk to him like this. But you indulged him just enough for Valentino to actually enjoy it when you sassed him back. He hummed, smiling. Very well, baby. Come to the studio. After hanging up, you walked into your bedroom, searching for your dresser for just the right, titillating outfit for Vox. He was a huge fan of your "I will sleep with you on the first date, but I'm very picky with my guys" look. Before leaving, mosquito demons such as yourself were rare. Specifically, rare because they usually didn't survive the first extermination. As such, there weren't that many of your kind alive. But you just so happened to be just attractive enough to have gotten the attention of the V's. As such, your services were greatly appreciated, and they gave you a certain amount of freedoms, luxuries, and most importantly, protection. Of course, you knew the moment a different mosquito demon with the same service and cheaper price would appear, you'd be dropped like a hot potato. After all, Valentino wasn't the type to stay loyal to one woman for long. Or a man, for that matter. And Vox, well, he was a penny pincher. And so you took great care in, quite literally and figuratively, bleeding them dry. You entered the V-Tower with the confidence of someone who screamed, "Yeah, I'm fucking your boss for benefits and there's nothing you can do about it." Walking straight past the tower's reception desk into the elevator. Typing into its security panel the password for Vox's penthouse. Ugh. And what a beautiful penthouse it was. Sure, it was just 4 rooms, which was surprisingly modest for him. The floor was carpeted in a dark blue, white leather furniture surrounding a polished obsidian coffee table. Large bar with a selection of drinks you never heard of. A door to a private bathroom, one private office that also functioned as a bedroom, and on the lower floor of the penthouse was an entire floor dedicated to a mini spa, with massage bench, sauna, and crystal clear pool water. He certainly knew how to live, and you'd suck his dick daily if he'd let you live here, but alas, it wasn't good for his image to have a preferred girl at his place. Oh well, he was still a good customer, and allowed you to live the way you did, even if it was a little lonely sometimes. You helped yourself to 2 glasses and a bottle of pre-mixed strawberry mosquito, knowing that as long as you stayed below $50 when it came to your taking his drinks without asking, he wouldn't shout at you. You sat down on the sofa, placed the 2 glasses next to each other, and filled one of them. You smacked your lips. The drink was simply to die for. Fizzy, minty, and slightly sweet. You would turn on Vox's TV, but if he became too comfortable, he'd get a little aggressive later, which would cause his blood to taste bitter. you needed him to be relatively calm. It was 10 minutes of waiting when you finally saw Vox leave his office, mumbling to himself. His suit was opened up, tie loosely hanging from his neck. Even his top hat hung a little crooked. At first he didn't notice you. He seemed to be looking for the TV remote. It was then you made your presence known. "Looking for this, Voxy?" He stopped moving entirely for a moment. Not a single muscle twitched or spasmed. He was thinking, considering whether or not to kick you out or let you stay. He inhaled deeply. "Dusk. Yeah, that's my name." He turned around, giving you a beautiful showman smile, though the rings under his eyes were a dead giveaway. "What are you doing here?" The way he pronounced, "What are you doing here?" The way he pronounced that "you" made your hair stand up. You were in danger, but when were you not? "Hey." Taking the glasses and a bottle, you walked over, filling up the empty one. "Val called me. Said you needed my services." He was very desperate. You gave him the unused glass, which he took from you a little reluctantly. "Well, yeah, he wouldn't let himself be stopped, wouldn't he?" "Oh dear, if you want, I can leave. We just say I finished quickly." He snorted. "We all know you don't finish quickly." God knows Val keeps trying. Drink in hand, he used his free hand to rub over your arms. Little full today, aren't we? Your arms were a little thicker than usual due to you having freshly fed on that candy demon blood. While aesthetically a little unpleasant, I must admit, the red glow is quite suiting you. And knowing what it means anyways always gets me a little excited. Smirking, the two of you sat down on the leather couch, drinking to loosen up a bit. This would make for some delicious blood later. "Oh, Dusk." He placed a hand on your cheek needfully. "I have been so tense lately." "Oh, it's okay, Voxy. I can help you." You got a little closer. "I always help you, don't I?" Yeah, you do that." He kissed you, a little aggressively, his tongue not remaining in his mouth for long while assaulting yours. You could barely move, and so you just let him do his thing, allowing his tongue to rub over yours, wiggle and slurp up your sweet alcoholic salvia. You had been strategically drinking, making sure to make it look like you were drinking just as fast as him, while remaining mostly sober, choosing to put most of the drink in your stomach sack rather than actual tummy. And so, you regurgitated just a little bit of mosquito to not be obvious, but to make yourself infectiously alcoholic. That's why you specifically chose this drink, as it would remain on your tongue for a little too long. Once Vox was blushing without you making innuendos, it was finally time. "Come, Voxy. Time for a blood sample." With a dumb smile, the two of you went into a spa downstairs. It wasn't all too big, maybe even a little cramped, but still super nice, and you could totally see yourself being recorded here while being taken advantage of by two handsome, strong overlords. You help the drunk Vox undress, his pants already bulging. Too bad that in a minute all that precious blood would go. Too bad that in just a few minutes that precious blood would be gone. But not for long, of course. You'd replace it with something absolutely sinful. Wrapping a towel around his hip, he protested. Come on, Dusk, you know how it looks like. You smiled at his tent. Oh, I just want to be a little professional, Voxy. You can understand that, don't you? You purred. Smirking, the TV demon lied down on the massage table. His flat TV head didn't fit through the narrow opening, so it was a little uncomfortable for his neck. But that's just something he had to deal with. Gently, you began rubbing oils into him that were stored in a little cupboard beneath the table. They would loosen up his muscles and widen his bloodstream. Dusk, you're so good to me, he moaned. Well, aren't you a good boy today? You whispered into his ear. Your oily, slippery claws caressing his lean and tight back muscles, softening his flesh until you reached just the right amount. You could hear his throbbing blood, your lips dropping hungrily, and then you inserted the first finger into his shoulder. He winced from both pleasure and pain, your fingers looking for the right pressure points, until all 10 were deeply inserted into him. You moaned excitedly as his blood rushed into your body. It felt good, like a long drag from a cigarette after a hard day at work without break. His blood flowed. It was strong and delicious. You could feel its heat culminating in your stomach sack. You couldn't wait to rub your belly and wallow in the feeling of being full, but you couldn't forget Vox and all the pleasure he was giving you. He was already getting dizzy from the blood loss. And that's when you began to push out the accumulated blood from the sacs hidden inside the chitin of your arms. The warm candy demon blood entered his bloodstream and he couldn't stop himself. He couldn't stop making lewd noises. He enjoyed this too much. Oh God, marry me, he whined. Though you knew the moment the high was gone, he'd pretend like he never said it. This was okay, though. Gently you kissed his neck in response, causing his body to twitch lustfully. His butt perking up a little, like it was going to be your little bottom tonight. Well, knowing him, the moment you joined him in his bed, he'd become an all-consuming beast. So you just chose to enjoy the sight for as long as it lasted. Hey, thank you for watching my video until the very end. I'm very grateful for that, and I would like to ask you to please share the video around on social media so more people can see it. And that's it really. But before we say goodbye, I would like to say thank you to all of my lovely channel members who so lovingly support me. We have Giovanni Moriarty, Twilight Mia, Zoe, Angel, Angry Boxman, Hella, BitBit, Melofia, Anonymous Weep, Zachary, Nicodemus D, and Valerie Wings. Thank you for being wonderful darling stewards, and of course, let's not forget all of my other lovely darlings who support me. Thank you for your support. It is greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.